Welcome to The Know. I'm Brian.
And I'm Eric.
The Star Wars community was rocked yesterday by a report that claimed Lucasfilm has halted development of all A Star Wars Story spin-offs. Some fans are cheering, some are jeering, but pretty much everybody has a strong opinion on it.
Yeah, so here's what we know right now. This news comes in the wake of Solo becoming the first live-action Star Wars film that won't make its total budget back in box office. I mean, the film was met with mixed positive reviews. It finished 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is still fresh.
Yep.
And it has some pretty hardcore fans that are very, very, very vocal about it, and especially on my Twitter. But Solo didn't break through the way either Rogue One or Episode 7 or 8 did.
I still haven't seen it, so I'm part of the problem.
I can tell you the end if you want.
Oh, all right.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Lucasfilm, though, they've already acknowledged publicly that they're going to take a look at their spin-offs, but now popular movie news site Collider says they've taken that a step further and they've stopped development on all their A Star Wars Story titles while they focus on finishing Episode 9 and making plans for the next Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, so far it seems this edict only applies to their spin-offs that carry the A Star Wars Story branding.
Okay.
That means that the two non-saga film series that are being spearheaded by Rian Johnson, who did Episode 8, and the Game of Thrones guys, D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, they're still moving forward with those.
Okay.
And all the other Star Wars shows as well.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So that would be Dave Filoni's animated Rebels follow-up, Resistance, and Jon Favreau's live-action Star Wars series he's showrunning for Disney's upcoming streaming service.
Yeah, and Lucasfilm never officially announced any further Star Wars Stories movies anyway, but it was widely known that they were developing standalone movies focused on the characters of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett.
Both of which would have been better than Han Solo.
How do you know? You haven't seen it.
Yeah, but you know,
maybe
that's
you'd
true.
love it.
You're
Maybe
right.
you'd love it.
You're right. Ewan McGregor has said many times that he'd love to return to the role of Obi-Wan, and it seems like Lucasfilm was at least looking into it, but now off the table.
Yeah, that's what it seems, if this Collider story is right.
Yeah.
The Boba Fett spinoff has been rumored since the very early days of Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm.
Okay.
Like, in fact, Josh Trank was widely believed to have been developing a Boba Fett-centric bounty hunter spin-off movie.
All right.
Then, of course, he was let go by the company, and then they focused on Rogue One instead.
Yeah, and in recent days, it seemed like the Boba Fett movie was making a comeback. The Hollywood Reporter said that Logan director James Mangold was writing and directing that movie, so that's something, and it seemed to be gaining steam, and then Solo flopped.
And that'll stop it.
Yep.
Lucasfilm hasn't commented on the Collider story at all, as they never do.
Sure, no.
And all the representatives on social media are likewise keeping mum about it, but we can read between the lines a little bit and try to figure out the thought process of the studio.
Yeah, the only films they've actually announced and are continuing to work on are pushing the Star Wars saga forward, obviously, away from the legacy characters. J.J. Abrams' Episode 9 may have Jedi Ghost Luke Skywalker, but it most certainly won't have Han Solo or General Leia to lean on. The spin-off film series developed by Rian Johnson and the Game of Thrones guys will have no connection to the Skywalker family and might not even be set in the same time period as the episode films.
Yeah, it's a safe bet that if Disney ends up making a new trilogy, that episodes 10, 11, and 12 will focus purely on the new characters as well.
Isn't that kind of the real test, too? Like, if they can move past Skywalker?
Yeah, you can't keep making
exactly.
80, 90-year-old Luke Skywalker movies.
In short, it seems like the lesson they're taking from Solo's mediocre box office performance is that people are more interested in seeing new things and not as interested in movies filled with fan favorite cameos and remember when you loved this thing moments.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that Lucasfilm has had a lot of production problems with both Rogue One and Solo. Problems they've never had with their saga films. I mean, both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi had reshoots, but they were just story and character tweaks, while both Star Wars Story films underwent massive last-minute changes. Something about these side movies are tougher for the folks at Lucasfilm.
Yeah, now that doesn't mean you won't see a return to a Star Wars Story style spin-offs. The Collider article was pretty specific about the fact that they're just hitting the pause button while they finish up their current trilogy of saga films. They could very well still make the Obi-Wan and Boba Fett movies, but it sounds like they'll be a few years more down the road.
Yeah, and once again, to be fair, the news here is essentially that Lucasfilm is not making the movies they never said they were making. Studios develop things all the time and then they put it aside. It's not an anomaly in the industry to see this happen, but because it's Star Wars, it's big news and everybody has an opinion on it, including all you guys.
All right, what do you guys think about Lucasfilm putting the brakes on future Star Wars standalone movies or hitting the pause button? Like we said, let us know in the comments. We know you have thoughts. Let us hear them.
And for all your Star Wars movie news, be sure to like this video. And if you're new around here, subscribe to The Know.
You can start from what do you guys think? Because I can.
Okay.
I have about 100,000 Star Wars fans.
Right.
Okay, good.
Right.
Movies are pretty long. They've been spanning about 35, 40 years now.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you have enough B-roll to cover this, Kdin. You're gonna have to work some magic.
5 minutes, 40 years of Star Wars movies. Nah, not in a million years.